Congratulations on your new record, In Search of the Antidote. I know this has been a labor of love, and pretty soon it's gonna belong to everyone else too.
I feel excited. I feel ready to just give it to people.
I'm doing better. I don't know if you remember when I told you in September that you wouldn't recognize me. Yeah, I want you to leave me. Stuck in the errors of us, a story of love, still in the air right from my lungs.
I thought it'd be fun to go through each song. Okay, I want to break it down.
Yeah, let's get it. It's about to be spicy. Let's get into it.
I mean, you broke lesbian TikTok with your song Becky So Hot.
I kinda wanna hit her when I see her, Becky So Hot, in your vintage t-shirt.
And then you said, I want to lean into it a little bit more with Maybe I Am, right? Tell me about that process.
Yeah, I remember during that time I was reading so much about myself online and comments and opinions and what people were saying about me, and I really wanted to write from the perspective of like, okay, what would it feel like if I did believe what everybody said about me was true? What if all those things were true? And this song came out of it that's like, maybe I am all those things.
You say I'm ruining my life on purpose just because I can. Maybe I am.
Has it gotten easier for you to put some boundaries up and decide what you want to read and absorb online?
When we live in the world that we live in, and there's so much online and there's so much kind of in our faces at all times, it's hard to. I'm also like a sensitive Pisces.
Which makes you such a good songwriter.
which is the chaos that sort of ensues. But yeah, that combination together has been kind of difficult.
You do have to promote your work, and that's on social media. You're exposed to those comments whether you like it or not, right?
Yeah, and so it's just about, you know, being able to like take everything with a grain of salt and be able to like receive feedback.
Yes. On that note, actually, Doing Better. You shared that for Doing Better, Fletcher wrote the verses and Carrie wrote the chorus.
I'm doing better. I don't know if you remember when I told you in September that you wouldn't recognize me.
How do you decide who is who? You know, how do you differentiate?
Carrie is this more like sensitive, quiet, shy, like feeler, and then Fletcher, you know, is almost like this superhero version of me that I like created. So the combination of those two things, and sometimes like Carrie will be like, Fletcher, are we really doing this today? Like, are we really going here?
Are they on each shoulder?
Yeah,
You know?
got like the devil. Yeah, Carrie's the,
You know what I'm saying?
angel, and Fletcher's the devil over here on the shoulder.
You gotta check in with both, right? Who you are.
Yeah, this album for me has really been a weaving of like who Carrie is as the human and who Fletcher is.
That's
and
so
this like
interesting.
integration of the two. I think it's funny. My barometer for a good Fletcher song has always been if I play it for my mom and she gasps at
And
the
clutches her
lyrics.
pearls.
If she clutches her pearls, she's like, Carrie Fletcher, I did not raise you like this. And I'm like, but you did.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
There's a couple gaspy lyrics on Doing Better that my mom said to me. She goes, you're gonna break lesbian TikTok again.
After the glow up, I was learning how to grow up. Had a wet dream, then I woke up. I was on a stage with Miley.
When you recorded it, did you laugh? You're like, oh, they're gonna eat this one up.
I did.
All right, moving on to Ego Talking. It's full of questions, this song, but the one that kind of stuck out to me the most was, you'll never love anybody else, right? Talk to me about that lyric.
I was experiencing jealousy, and I think a big thing throughout this record for me was just being able to give the microphone to all the different parts of me, whether that be like anger or rage or lust or joy or excitement or happiness. And when I went to the studio that day, I just was like, whoa, my ego needs the mic. But when you go through those human emotions of just like, I'm feeling jealous right now, I'm feeling like insecure about you potentially moving on to somebody else.
You know, society might tell us, don't act like that, don't behave like that. And that's what your fans are connecting to, is that honesty, right? And the truth, because we all can relate to that part.
I was made to find you, but your heart is constantly running, just never toward me.
Lead Me On, which of course is the lead single of the record. What made you choose this one to kind of like introduce this next era?
I just felt sonically like Lead Me On was such an amazing foundation for what the record sounds like.
So why don't you just lead me on? 'Cause something is better than nothing at all.
There's a lot of pop rock influence and sort of 90s singer-songwriter. And so at one listen, you can hear Lead Me On and think that it's about, you know, taking breadcrumbs from somebody who's like, you know, leading you on in a relationship.
And not giving you the full meal.
And not giving you the full meal, honey, when you deserve the appetizer, the meal, the dessert, all of it. It's like, I was born to love you, you were born wild and free. It's like, that's this just like the complete freest version of myself, and how she's left little like seeds of intuition throughout my life to kind of follow that path.
The video was shot in Paris. What's the significance of it being there in the city of love?
I'm such a hopeless romantic. There's something about Paris that just like lights my soul on fire.
I believe it.
You always wanted happy, I want that for you. Two things can be true. He can love you, baby, and baby, I can too.
Taylor Swift, of course, is known for her track fives. For her, they're very vulnerable. There's a specific meaning. And I've noticed a lot of people on Instagram are asking you if Two Things Can Be True is your Taylor Swift track five. So what do you think of that?
Every single song on my record is a song that has like some super deep significance, but Two Things Can Be True is sort of, it's about this classic like pining over a straight girl. You know, and
classic story.
Yeah, classic story. We've all been there. Like, and romanticizing, or whatever it is just romanticizing a friendship.
Two things, they can be true. You can have his body and still think of mine too. You can still call me up at night. You can still be the love of your life. You can ignore me in every room and still miss me.
My thing is like, I'd go to a coffee shop and there'd be like a sexy barista, and I'm like, I see the vision.
You start planning the
wedding.
wedding.
I see the wedding, I see the life, I see the delusion.
I don't.
Is what it is, babes.
Period. I gotta get that checked out. I love it. Well, speaking of Taylor Swift, Eras of Us, I mean, this started this new era, right? And was inspired by running to a certain someone at the Eras tour.
Girl in my dreams, forever we're young. Remember it just the way it was. The eras of us.
So how did you channel your emotions from that night into this song and really into the album?
I was lucky enough to go see Taylor at the Eras tour, and I bumped into an ex there, and I had no idea each other was gonna be there. And once I started feeling all these feelings and realizing that we were both at this concert, like scream singing the lyrics to an artist that has narrated so much of my journey, of my falling in love, of my breakups, and both of us there, like, you know, in agonizing like pain, yelling these songs at this artist that is like just so incredible. The Eras of Us just sort of hit me as I was at the Eras tour, and so I went to the studio the next day and I was like, this has to be a song.
Yeah.
You don't run into your ex-girlfriend at a Taylor Swift concert
And not write a song?
and not turn it into a damn lyric. It came from a reflection in a positive light, and also just a way for me to close a chapter. It felt like this sort of like full circle moment of like, okay, I just want to like say my final piece here.
No, but that's the beauty of music. But yeah, attached to you, that's what that's about, yeah?
Yeah, it is. It's about like a deep sort of like intrinsic fear of getting hurt and loss, which ultimately is not something that we can escape as human beings.
Come to think of it, I think I saw the end. You didn't get a chance to choose. There I go again, making up a bad excuse so I don't get attached to you.
To be able to experience these like high highs and these big loves and these sort of like intense, you know, joys and emotions, there also has to be like the flip side of it to experience loss. And yeah, that one's just about like just being terrified. I'd rather walk on glass than give someone the opportunity to hurt me. I'd run like hell and sabotage a good thing because I'm so afraid it could be perfect.
The next one is about crushing. It's Crush.
Come on, I dare you to love me, wondering why won't you crush me? Won't you crush me?
As I've been on this sort of like healing journey and healing my relationship to like love and relationships and sort of unlearning like toxic behaviors and patterns and that like intense passion of love, I have sometimes found myself like missing that intensity. We've been fed this like narrative that everything has to be this like crazy, fiery, burny, and like that can totally be there, but you know, also being mindful of like, is this unhinged and like hurtful to myself?
But it's so interesting because it's not so black and white. There are layers to it.
There are so many layers.
It's a journey.
The piece is in finding this realization that you don't have to keep chasing something. You could just, there's flow in the chaos. There's like beauty in the chaos. In this present moment is perfect.
Absolutely. Moving on to Pretending. Your emotions are really raw in this song. How much do you typically pull from your real experiences and your real life into your songs and into your music?
Extremely real. This is a very real,
personal record,
really personal record, and this is a really personal song too. I wrote that from a place of, I think, just feeling like this wondering of that one person that you have in the back of your mind where you're like, is it gonna be us? Are we gonna be the ones that sort of end up together? And are we just kind of playing, you know, pretending in life? Yeah, that's what that song's about.
I'm excited to get into this next one because in Joyride, you sing about what appears to be a fling that turns into something more serious, you know, as heard through the lyric.
Nobody catches a girl, double dare you to try. Steal the keys to my heart, take it out for a joyride.
I wanted something that just felt like a vintage car driving down the PCH in California, the Pacific Coast Highway, with like the convertible down. It's funny, like the details in that are just, the verses are so specific about somebody eating like peaches and peanut butter and then thinking about how, you know, I'm like, oh, why do these things taste so good together? Like that was a thought that I really had, and it's just.
You know, when you hear it, do you think about that?
Yeah.
You open about looking for the antidote, and in the end, you discover that it's love. And that's what I got from this record. I was like, that love really is kind of like that thing that unites all of us, right?
I get high on your new rock and roll. You're the medication, I wanna take you on my antidote.
What was the journey like for you, kind of discovering that love is the antidote?
I went through a really intense journey last year. I got quite sick and was diagnosed with Lyme disease. And I was really forced to kind of just like pull everything back, and I disappeared from social media, and I kind of just went into this little cocoon of mine and for some deep healing, and you know, and so much got so quiet for me, but other things got really loud, like all the ways that I felt like unworthy or still was just dealing with things that I hadn't dealt with from childhood, or like unresolved feelings and emotions, and realizing how much of that affects your health and affects your sense of self and the way you view yourself. And so when in the past the antidote has been fans and stages and bottles of tequila and all these things, it had now become something totally different, of this like deep, like really getting in touch with myself and my feelings and healing my like heart and body. And it's what the search for the antidote has been, and it has led me to
life, baby.
my greatest music yet that I just am so excited to share.